The Texas morning was still, the kind of quiet that amplifies every sound, and I stood frozen, clutching my coffee mug, as the roar of an excavator shattered the peace. Its steel bucket tore into the northwest corner of my family's ranch land we'd safeguarded for 4 generations. Clara Thornton, the HOA president, stood nearby in a crisp white blazer, barking orders over the machine's growl. Useless dirt, she called it, fit only to fill the clubhouse pond. She didn't know what lay beneath, secrets I'd never touched, not out of neglect, but fear. My name's Nathan Caldwell, once a NASA engineer until I got canned for blowing the whistle on their cover-ups. Now, I was watching Clara's crew dig where my Aunt Mabel's journals warned never to tread. Comment where you're watching from, because some mistakes whisper before they scream, and this one was about to shake the earth. I'd been up since dawn, my mini drone humming over the 200 acres, a habit from my NASA days when precision trumped sleep. The quadcopter's sensors flagged out acoustic readings from that same northwest corner. Then came the growl 6:00 a.m., heavy machinery chewing through my land. My coffee went cold as the drone's feed showed a yellow excavator clawing exactly where Mabel's journals marked a buried secret. I raced across the ranch in my pickup, dust trailing like a warning. Clara, her blonde hair defying the humidity, spotted me and flashed a smile that never touched her eyes. "Nathan, perfect timing," she said, waving a stack of legal papers. HOA Resolution 922, a beautification. This wasteland's finally useful. I pulled up GPS coordinates I'd memorized from Mabel's notes, my pulse pounding. "Clara, this is private property," I said, voice steady despite the adrenaline. "These coordinates were never HOA approved." She laughed, sharp like shattering glass, and flashed documents with my signature, so she claimed. I'd never signed anything, and the pixelated edges screamed forgery. Jake Ramsey, the excavator operator, caught my eye, his weathered face tense. A military engineer with decades of experience, he shook his head slightly, like he knew something was wrong. "Nathan, my metal detector's going nuts," he whispered, glancing at Clara. "Something big and metallic's down there." I activated my drone's NASA-grade sensors, picking up electromagnetic signatures of a cylindrical structure, unnatural and massive. Clara's eyes narrowed as my drone circled, and she stepped away, phone pressed to her ear, speaking in hushed tones to someone who seemed to be calling the shots. My phone lit up with HOA documents, and there it was, my signature, forged, and worse, Mabel's, perfectly mimicked despite her never touching a computer. "Clara, there's a problem," I said, showing her the evidence. "My aunt doesn't do digital signatures." Her smile flickered, a crack in her polished facade, but she recovered fast, dismissing me as a paranoid has-been. Then my drone's audio sensors caught a faint, pulsing radio signal from underground, like a heartbeat waiting decades to be found. "Clara, stop the dig," I demanded, my NASA training kicking in. "There's active infrastructure down there." She laughed, but it was forced, almost unhinged. Jake shut off the excavator, his detector screaming numbers that didn't add up unless we were above something huge, metallic, and alive. The air turned sour with hydrogen sulfide, the kind of gas that makes engineers back off fast. My custom frequency analyzer, built from NASA scraps, confirmed high-pressure wave signatures of a system no civilian should be near. I tore back to the ranch house, down to Mabel's basement library, where her leather-bound journals lined the walls. She'd been the county librarian for 40 years, obsessive about documenting everything. Her 1989 entries were gold, detailed notes on a classified government project, nighttime digging, military vehicles, hazmat suits. Polaroids showed federal contractors and foreign specialists, all at the exact GPS coordinates Clara's crew was now tearing apart. Mabel's notes revealed a high-pressure natural gas pipeline, installed for military fuel supply, hidden from civilian maps. I called Clara, hands shaking, but she scoffed. "Nathan, get a hobby that isn't conspiracy theories. The county would know about a gas line." She didn't grasp that defense infrastructure plays by different rules, classified to avoid exactly this. Cross-referencing Mabel's photos with county records, I found a geological survey from 6 months ago, paid for by Pinnacle Geological Solutions, flagging metallic anomalies right where Clara was digging. This wasn't random. I hacked the HOA's security camera skills from my whistleblower days and found footage of Clara pitching her beautification to 3 foreign investors, suits crisp, accents thick, paying cash for surveys of my land. My coffee mug shattered on the basement floor as the stakes sank in. This was no HOA power trip. It was coordinated, professional, dangerous. I called the Federal Gas Company's hotline, expecting a technician. Instead, I got a supervisor who froze when I described the pipeline. "That's classified under national defense," he said. "You're not cleared to know more. Someone will contact you in 24 hours. Don't talk." But Clara's crew was still digging. I filed an emergency injunction at the county courthouse, armed with Mabel's photos and my sensor data. Judge Evelyn Harper, known for fairness, studied the evidence closely. "Serious claims, Mr. Caldwell," she said, peering over her glasses. "But I need more than old photos to stop a permitted project." Clara's lawyer, Gregory Winston from Winston and Pierce, swept in, his suit screaming money. He painted me as a delusional ex-NASA nut, waving a psychological evaluation from a shrink who claimed my firing left me unhinged. The speed of their attack, tapping my classified NASA file, was chilling. Dr. Maria Alvarez, my old NASA colleague, arrived just in time, her briefcase stuffed with satellite data showing a 4-foot-wide metallic structure under Clara's dig site. Judge Harper issued a 48-hour restraining order for a radar survey, but Winston countered, demanding I post a $50,000 bond for potential losses. The legal game was brutal, but Clara's confidence unnerved me most. She acted like she'd already won. Then Maria whispered during a recess, "Nathan, those investors? Flagged by Treasury for money laundering." Her satellite imagery showed a network of underground pipelines, active and sprawling beyond our ranch, tied to military bases. My phone rang. Jake, panicked. Clara made me dig deeper. My gas detector's screaming alarms I've never heard in 30 years. I floored my pickup, Maria's data showing pressure spikes. The courthouse felt irrelevant. Physics doesn't wait for lawyers. At the site, Jake waved his crew back, his methane detector flashing red. I started live streaming on Facebook, knowing public eyes could force accountability. "This is Nathan Caldwell," I said. "We've got a gas leak from federal infrastructure." Clara emerged from a black SUV with a tactical security team, screaming about illegal filming. Her makeup cracked as she glanced at her phone, taking orders from someone watching. Maria called, her voice tight. "Satellite shows critical pressure anomalies. This could blow." I broadcast her warning, my audience spiking to thousands. Jake's detector revealed a controlled release, a system with fail-safes, not a civilian pipe. Aunt Mabel arrived, clutching a journal, her usual haze gone. "Nathan, the night book," she said, handing me Polaroids of a 1989 underground facility pipelines, monitors, foreign techs. Clara's eyes widened. She knew she'd triggered something big. A small explosion rocked the site, and Jake yelled, "Run." A blue flame shot 10 feet high, natural gas burning like a divine judgment. First responders swarmed fire trucks, hazmat, deputies moving too fast, like they'd been waiting. My live stream hit 50,000 viewers as Clara spun lies, blaming Jake's unauthorized digging. But her tears in her BMW, watching my stream, betrayed her. She wasn't evil, just desperate, drowning in choices gone wrong. Federal agents arrived, led by Director Laura Bennett from the Defense Infrastructure Protection Agency. "Mr. Caldwell," she said, "we need to know how you found this." She revealed Clara's crew was part of a foreign investment scheme targeting U.S. infrastructure, tracked for months. My drone's audio, capturing Clara's order to complete the operation despite risks, sealed her fate, broadcast to 80,000 viewers. Mabel's journals, with contractor names and license plates, cracked the case wide open. Then Clara dropped a bomb. This ranch wasn't our main target. Another site's operation wraps tomorrow. My blood froze. Using Maria's satellite data and Mabel's final journal, we pinpointed 3 more sites: Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, all above hidden pipelines. FBI raids uncovered weapons, monitors, encrypted comms. Mabel, in front of my 150,000 viewers, admitted she'd been CIA since '87, her Alzheimer's, a cover to monitor rural threats. Clara and her network were arrested for espionage, money laundering, conspiracy. Her Chinese investors were fronts for a global scheme mapping U.S. defenses. Clara got 25 years, her final words to my 200,000 viewers a plea. I was desperate, not evil. NASA reinstated me, and Mabel's evidence birthed the Mabel Caldwell Science Center, teaching communities to spot threats. The pipeline's now mapped, secure. Comment what you'd do if this was your fight. Truths like gas one spark, and it burns lies to ash.